Oh boy, I'm stunned. Look. What's going on, guys? It's Steve. I am absolutely stunned right now by the Chicago Bulls. I have never seen a move so stupid in my entire life. I've never seen a move so stupid in my entire life. So if you don't know the gist of this trade, the Minnesota Timberwolves just punched the Chicago Bulls, like my man Stephen A. Smith said, right in the face. Because they just got Jimmy Butler. But they didn't just get Jimmy Butler. They also did not lose any of their core players. Well, they lost one, but that piece was like the third, probably fourth option, because it depends on how you determine Ricky Rubio. That's besides the point. The point is that the Minnesota Timberwolves just finessed the Chicago Bulls. So now they have Ricky Rubio, Andrew Wiggins, Jimmy Butler, and Karl Anthony Towns. Look, and plus they have the defender. What's that? Nikola, whatever that guy's name. You know who I'm talking about. The huge Russian scary dude. Look, they just finessed the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls just gave up Jimmy Butler for Zach LaVine, a draft pick. And get this. You think that's funny? Get this. They gave up Jimmy Butler for Zach LaVine, a draft pick. And Chris Dunn. What? Oh my! Look, there are four wing players. Now, if you don't understand why wing players are so important, especially if they're superstar caliber players, all-star players, it's so important because wing players are the most dominant position in the NBA, which is why they dominated the last decade. LeBron, KD, and Melo. Now you have four young wing star players that every single team would love to get their hands on. Those four players, in order from greatest to great, because they're all good, in order, it's Kawhi Leonard, who's going to be one of the greatest players ever. It's Paul George, it's Jimmy Butler, and then you have Gordon Hayward. You're telling me right now that the Chicago Bulls just traded away Jimmy Butler, Jimmy McBuckets, for Zach LaVine, who is injured at this point in time. Keep that in mind with his ACL or MCL, whatever the hell injury he has. There's no guarantee he's going to give you 16 points per game like he did before the injury. The reason why I said that, because he's an athletic player that relies on athleticism to score, which means when push comes to shove and Zach LaVine comes back, 9 times out of 10, athletic players that get injured like that do not come back as great as they were before. Some great examples of really great players. First of all, let's start with Tracy McGrady. Athletic as hell, back injury, came back, he couldn't do anything. Dwyane Wade, athletic as hell, freaking finals MVP without LeBron or Chris Bosh. Okay, finals MVP, the first of the greatest draft of all time, 2003, with LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and the man himself, and Dwyane Wade, to win an NBA championship. Injury after injury, and guess what? He didn't come back as great as he was before. Derrick Rose, the youngest MVP in NBA history in the 2011 NBA season. He goes down with an injury, and he doesn't come back, and he continues to get injured and injured, because when you rely on athleticism, your body is naturally weaker. It's naturally weaker, because think about it. Melo, Kobe, the reason why they lasted so long, because yeah, they had athleticism, but as soon as it declined, they used strength, they used skill and footwork. They got that strength, right? So now we look at Zach LaVine, who, first of all, I shouldn't even be bringing his name up with these players, but I have to use this as an example, because if the greatest players to ever do it can't even come back as great as they were before the injuries, how is Zach LaVine going to manage to do it? That is my point. This man, he's a great shooter. He can run the floor. He can catch lobs. He dunks on people's heads. He'll put on a show. And he'll probably sell a few extra tickets. But there's no guarantee he's coming back. But the dumbest part about this trade is that Jimmy Butler, it's not even like Jimmy Butler is old. Jimmy Butler is literally 27 years old. So you're telling me you have four young wing players that every team would love to get their hand on. 4 young wing players that every single team in the NBA or on the planet would love to get their hands on. And you trade him for a bag of Skittles, pretty much. You just traded the only upside to your organization for Zach LaVine, who's coming off of an injury. I think it's an ACL injury. For Chris Dunn, who's a freaking bum. Pun intended. And a draft pick. Are you kidding me? Chicago. First you get rid of Tom Thibodeau. Pretty solid coach. I'm not going to say he's great because you know how I feel about NBA head coaches. You know, I think they're overrated as hell because if you put anyone on Michael Jordan's Bulls, they're still going to win 6. You put anyone on Shaq and Kobe's Lakers, they're still going to win 3 in a row. You put anyone on LeBron, Wade, and Bosh's Miami Heat, they're still going to win 2 out of 4. You put anyone on the Boston Celtics with KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, they're only going to win 1 because those 3 bums. I always hated the Celtics and I always will. But that's not the point of this video. The point is that how the hell do you allow this to happen? Like, I really think some of these managers and GMs and owners and just people overall, whoever is the head of operations, whoever's in charge, and it's not just Chicago, I'm talking about all teams right now. I'm really starting to think that that these teams, some of these teams, the owners, the people in charge, I'm really starting to think that they're retarded. Who trades Jimmy Butler for Zach LaVine? You could have at least gotten LaMarcus Aldridge, who's also a bum, but you could have at least gotten him because he wants to get off. He wants to leave the San Antonio Spurs. So if he leaves when his contract's up, the Spurs are going to trade him. So why not trade Jimmy Butler to play with Kawhi? Jimmy Butler can play the 2 spot. He used to play the 2. He can play the 2 spot. He played it before Dwyane Wade got there. So him and Kawhi on the same team. Oh boy. Now guess what's going to happen? It's either going to be Kawhi and Melo, or it's going to be LeBron and Melo, or it's going to be CP3 and Melo. So in other words, Chicago, you got nothing in return for Jimmy Butler. I already know how this is going to go down. I have a lot of Bulls fans that watch my videos. I already know how it's going to go down. They're going to say, possibly they'll agree with me, which I know they will. But there's going to be that one person, probably Michael C3, because this guy changes his mind every single video. But sorry for that pop. My mic just messed up. But there's going to be that one person that's going to say, well, Steve, you have to look at it from the bigger perspective. They want to rebuild. What are you rebuilding? You give away a 27-year-old star player that has potential to be an NBA superstar. Is he going to be the best player on a championship team? Probably not, because again, that only takes a real superstar to be that best player. You want me to go through the list? I'll do it, because again, I'll do it, whatever. LeBron James. There's probably only 4 or 5 players, actually. There's probably 6 or 7 superstars, but there's really only 4 or 5 players that have that leadership. LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, Kawhi Leonard. 6. Russell Westbrook is good. James Harden, they're good. But mentally, I don't think so. But that's besides the point. Chicago. Remember when you guys were laughing at the New York Knicks? Oh, your Knicks are so stupid. They're so stupid. Oh, yeah. Who's getting the last laugh now? Because last time that I checked, we still got Melo. We still got KP. We still got Derrick Rose. We still got our big 3. We just need better role players, a better bench, better defenders. And we need to fire. Yo, if Coach Hornacek is still the head coach of the Knicks next season, I'm not watching. But that's besides the point. The point is that, Chicago, I feel bad for you. This is by far the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And to be honest, if you guys boycotted watching Bulls teams games, I wouldn't blame you. Because this is embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing. It's disgusting. And it just shows you. It just goes to show that no matter nothing's guaranteed because you had the future right there. You had the foundation. You had Jimmy Butler. You know, you could have traded Wade and Rondo and got some solid role players around him, and then you could have tried to tank for a year and then get draft picks. But no, you have to trade Jimmy Butler for a bag of Skittles, and now your team's going to be horrendous for the next 10 years. Because the chances of getting an NBA superstar... Look, I'll tell you this right now. The 2017 NBA draft, there's only one player that has a possible star caliber future. We go in this every year. I never keep up with college basketball, but I'll end the video on this. Every single year, I hear people say, "Oh my gosh, this draft is stacked. There's like 5 or 6 good players," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure, whatever." Turns out most of the players are dog doo-doo. So what I'm trying to say is that Lonzo Ball, possibly Markelle Fultz as well, have like the only upside in this draft. Everyone else, oh, they're so good. Yeah, we'll see. It's been your man Steve, Chicago. I feel bad for you. This is an embarrassment. Peace.